There are two places in the world that traveling to might negatively affect your tax bill. I'm going to tell you what they are in this video. Hey guys, I'm Andrew Henderson, and to be honest, this is the kind of video that I imagine would start with, this video is brought to you by SkillSwap. To get 20% off with the link in the description. Because this is kind of weird. You see, there is one country in the world that penalizes its citizens and its residents for where they travel. As you might imagine, that country is the United States. Now this is where it gets interesting. If you are a US citizen, expat, and you want to go and live offshore, you're no doubt familiar with what's called the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion. This is where in 2019 you can exempt $105,900 in earned income from US tax. And there are a whole number of provisions that allow you to avoid state tax, city tax, social security tax. When done right, you can get your tax on this initial amount down to absolutely zero. That's when the more complicated tax planning comes in. Now, the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion, like so many things, is easy, but also not easy. It's a relatively simple form to file, but there's a lot of different stuff involved. It talks about time in transit, 24 hours, international waters, even goes into time spent in the seabed or soil bed of a certain country. So it gets a little weird. Here's where it's gotten messy for people in the past. A couple decades ago, Dave Arnett led a group of people down to Antarctica to do some work as an independent contractor for a big company. A bunch of these guys went down to Antarctica and they were doing work there. He came back to the United States, filed under the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion, said, I'm excluding something like $60,000 in earned income, earned because I worked there, and foreign because I was in Antarctica. It's not the United States. The IRS disagreed. They took it all the way to the mat and he lost. He ended up having to pay. And thus was when the IRS determined that Antarctica is actually not a foreign country because Antarctica isn't sovereign. While different countries claim territorial rights to different parts of it, no one actually owns Antarctica. And in the big picture, it's considered to be just international territory. The IRS said, under the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion, you need to spend at least 330 days per 365 days in a foreign country or countries, or you need to be a bona fide resident of a foreign country or country, neither of which Antarctica qualifies for, and therefore he lost. So if you go and spend your time in Antarctica, you won't get a tax break. But the second and potentially more likely candidate for you to visit is actually just off the shores of the United States. And that's Cuba. You see, because the United States maintains an embargo with Cuba, Cuba is on the OFAC list, and there are all sorts of restrictions on travel to Cuba, which as a former US citizen, I no longer spend too much time keeping up with. Cuba has been designated through these channels as being a place where time spent does not count towards your foreign earned income exclusion. So in that time that you need to be outside of the United States, any days spent in Cuba simply don't count. That means if you're a US citizen and you go and spend much more than a month in Cuba, even if you never set foot in the United States in that 365-day period, you still wouldn't qualify for the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion because the United States doesn't recognize your ability to be in Cuba. There are a lot of weird complications when it comes to tax laws. These are two that you might never run into, but it should make you think, what is it that I need to do to make sure that I'm tax compliant as a non-resident of my country, or if I'm a US citizen, that I'm always going to be compliant in getting my offshore tax benefits if I'm actually offshore? Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6- or 7-figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.